Hi, welcome back, you beautiful souls, to a new video. First, apologies. Plans for my birthday kind of changed with friends coming over and basically kidnapping me as soon as I got off work. Because I had planned things with them. So my birthday plans for doing videos kind of got ruined, but I hung out with some really good friends. This is going to be a new series. And it's something that I've thought about for a while now, and I've even talked to a few of my old time viewers, like way back, about like Team Seven and everything. About Team Seven and everything. So this what if actually comes from one of my IRL friends that suggested this when I was speaking about another series, and he suggested that I do one that is entirely about Kakashi going back. Because I had been viewing like a fanfic, like listening to it and everything, during the drives and stuff that we have a couple of years ago, and we got on the discussion about like Team Seven. This is influenced by um, what if Kakashi was, what if Kakashi spirit, what if a person from our world got fused with Kakashi spirit merger, and the idea really came up about this particularly series from conversation me and a friend had initially about a series that Dr. Kahu did, which I'll put a link to his channel in in the comments in the description below, about his series What If Team 7 Got Sent to the Past. And he did like a time turtle stuff. That's not much of a spoiler because that's said basically within like the first 3-4 minutes of the series starting. So my series is going to be completely different than anything that I've done in the past, about a future threat or something like that. No, this is just Kakashi one day waking up in his younger body and not knowing what the happened, assuming that you'll find out. So that being said, let's get started with this video. So this is Kage Kakashi has just finished his day and everything, and he goes to sleep. He's having during this, he starts having nightmares. Well, I mean, technically speaking, like the definition of a nightmare is like how you view those dreams. But he, and I'm using the term nightmare because it better describes the brutality of stuff that's happening in it, and you'll find out soon. So Kakashi begins to like have dreams where back of the Third Shinobi War. In the Fourth Shinobi War, many of like the horrors that he saw during the Fourth, and like seeing like his students basically like fighting by themselves, his argument with Obito, and all day like before that he was thinking, it's like if he could have done something different in his past, and like where he would be able to make the biggest change. And like it was when Obito got crushed. He's like, he can't, if he changes that, it could potentially, like, it probably, his life probably would have turned out completely different, and he wouldn't have the loved ones that he has now. So he's accepted that in his heart because of reconciling with Obito and actually being able to say goodbye to him during the Fourth War. But he's thinking back to like the Third War, and he's having flashes of feeling people's blood, like when he's like slashing their throat or when he's piercing them with Chidori, like their blood going on their hand. In the one dream, like then he dreams about like the Nine Tails attack in the days following that. Sorry. One moment while I take a sip of water. Sorry about that. I had a little bit of a dry throat. Oh yeah, Kakashi was thinking about the days after the Nine Tails attack and everything, and then like he starts having like to him an actual nightmare, the day that he killed Ren. Like like what you saw in canon, but like he just feels like for him when he has this dream again, he basically and he pierces like her sternum and like goes through her bones and everything. He feels her bones cracking and her blood splattering, like few droplets hitting his face. The smell of like her blood like dripping down his arm, the warmth that it is, and then him ripping his hand out of her chest and everything, and that causes Kakashi to like wake up in a cold sweat, and he's kind of groggy. Sorry about that. He's kind of groggy, and he's like, "Oh God, I haven't thought about that. Haven't had that dream since I was 14." He says out loud, and then he's like, "Wait, what's wrong with my voice?" So he rushes to his bathroom, noticing, like at first he stumbles, and he's like, then he looks down, and then, like his hands are smaller. So he gets up and looks in the mirror, and he sees that it's his younger self. And he immediately thinks he's in a genjutsu, so he does everything that he can think of to like release the genjutsu. And like the whole day he spends in his like house trying to figure all this crap out. In the morning, like basically spends half the day and everything before he hears like a loud banging on his door and everything. And he hears Guy's voice like coming, "Kakashi, we have to go to Lord Forest's like funeral. You're late. You can't be late to your sensei's funeral. I know it must be painful, but we need to go." So, unlike canon where he's like breaking down and everything, where he's like breaking down and where he's like crying in canon, he's just staring like at the scene and like it's surreal to him. He's tried every method of breaking a genjutsu, and he's thinking about things. And then he sees like baby Naruto like by like the Hokage like crying and everything, and it makes him think. And he spends like during the meeting with Hiruzen and everything to discuss like his time off, because in canon he did get time off. One moment. I'm sorry about that. During like that week that he has off to kind of like collect himself, because Hiruzen was like concerned with Kakashi attitude during like the funeral and everything, like the emotionless, like far off looking state he told Kakashi that I'm going to put you on like 2 weeks leave, get your mind straight, and then we'll talk about you staying in Ambu or like where you want to go. But you clearly needed some time off and everything. So that being said, over these next 2 weeks, several things Kakashi does. He's thinking about it, and he has a Sharingan, and he does his first day, quote unquote, unquote, off. He's thinking about it, and he's like, well, this isn't a genjutsu. I'm not hallucinating because the pain is real. If this was a coma dream, I wouldn't feel pain like that. And the blood is real when I cut myself. And basically getting hound, because the reason why Kakashi was given 2 weeks to get off to get his head screwed on straight is because he stabbed himself with a kunai while he was talking to Hiruzen and everything. So yeah, he knows what is going on is real, and he was thinking about it. So this isn't a genjutsu. Did I dream all of that? Because then he starts questioning everything, but everything that I remember isn't. And he does test with his chakra and everything, and even does the Rikiri. He tests out doing the Rikiri on a much smaller scale. Basically the initial things of, because he did eventually, I do believe Kakashi did eventually learn that from Sasuke, in the future. Just basically ask him how he did it and everything, because the Rikiri is an improvement on his sorry about that, is an improvement on the Chidori. So he's thinking about this, and he's like, the only explanation I can think of is I'm past, and I have my Sharingan too. So, and it's the same, and I'm feeling the same drain, but the same drain that I can remember, but it's not as taxing for me. So one thing he does decide on is that this is the third day now after he's done a bunch of tests. He talks to Hiruzen. He goes and sees Hiruzen. And so Kakashi's going to keep a lot of this crap secret for a couple of years before he really has to start speaking to the Hokage about things. He's basically going to hide the fact that he's a fucking time traveler, so that he doesn't royally fuck things up in the future for his students, because his students were at a good spot. Naruto had just married Hinata last year. He finally got the life that he wanted. Sasuke and Sakura had gotten together. He likes where he was, and he doesn't really want to screw up their lives too much in the future that they had. But one thing he did decide on is that if he has his chakra levels, well, he's at about 65% of his chakra from when he was in his 30s. Yeah, he was in his 30s when he was Hokage, I think. Because he was 28 when the series started. Yeah, he was in his mid 30s to late 30s when he was Hokage. He has about 65% of the chakra that he had then, which is still quite a bit more than what he had when he was 14. So he decided on speaking to Hiruzen, so we'll cut to that scene, seeing Hokage office. Lord Third, can I speak to you? I need a favor. I have a favor to ask of you. Hiruzen's like, Kakashi, what is it? And he basically explains to Hiruzen that he wants to get his Sharingan sealed. If he knows any seals that could seal off his Sharingan, or create an eye patch to seal off the Sharingan itself, completely to where it's not draining any chakra. Hiruzen thinks about it for a bit, and he says, "Why do you want to do this? It's a great tool." And Kakashi explains to him that he wants to train his body up. He feels like the massive drain that it has, and the death of Minato Sensei and Kushina-san, really made him think, like, if I'm not strong enough to do things without the Sharingan, then having to depend on it is going to really affect things for him in the future. Hiruzen thinks about it, and it's like, that's very mature. It's a mature viewpoint for you, Kakashi. So he's like, give me a couple of days. I'll talk to my student Jiraiya. So cut to a few days later, and during this time, Guy has come to see him to like cheer up his friend. And surprising Guy, he did. He does like he tells Guy, like, he asks Guy if he wants to like go train a bit. Guy being like the thing is like, yeah, like, awesome, let's go. So he has met up with that guy once to do some training, some physical training exercise. Like, hell, he's got 2 fucking weeks off. And he needs to get like his used to like his younger body again, because his movements are kind of stiff and rigid. And Guy is the perfect person to do that with. So, cut to a few days later, Kakashi is called into Rizen's office, and Jiraiya has gotten back to him about 4 days after that. So this is about a week into it. And Hiruzen informs him that Jiraiya will be here in the village in like a month to like do it, because he's the only one that can do it, and it basically, there's a seal that he'll probably have to like do on his face, and Hiruzen isn't skilled enough to do that. Kakashi's thinking, and Kakashi brings out some designs, and he's like, I remember in the war, like seeing like shinobi, like an enemy shinobi that had like these weird tags, and I've like drew it out the best that I can. Do you think this, like, a seal that's like this would be able to help? And Hiruzen's like, yeah. So cut to Jiraiya getting there. Kakashi gets a seal insignia drawn like around his eye, and he gets an eye patch for it. Like, and he decides to like actually wear his hitai like normally, and just wear an actual eye patch that covers it up in this photo. So like how he would normally have his hitai turned to the left, he actually wears it. He actually wears it properly now, and just has the eye like covered with an eye patch that he can easily flip up and flip down to like activate and deactivate like the seals, like with the eye with the eye patch over it, the seals are active, and it basically is a localized chakra blocker. So basically, it blocks the chakra going to the eye, and Kakashi can't wear the like Jiraiya tells him, Kakashi, like you shouldn't wear this eye patch when you're sleeping. And here's a couple of them. If you ever lose them, you have a spare. Because of Ninja Life, and he shows Kakashi how to do like the hand signs and everything to release the seal in an emergency if he needs to, if he can't reach up to do it. Basically, it releases like a seal that will cause the eye patch to fall off and everything. And he tells Kakashi that this was actually a pretty good idea. I can't believe no one ever thought about this before. And Kakashi scratches his head, and he's like, huh, yeah, Minato Sensei's death really hit me hard and made me really put things into perspective. So Kakashi he's going to be training a lot. He's going to be training a lot over the years and everything. And what are other points? Nope, I don't have any other points for this series. In the comment section below, I'm going to end this part here. This was really more of a background episode that really gets the series off board. I decided instead of doing an hour-long series, an hour-long episode 0, I'm going to try to keep all my episode 0s below 30 minutes. And it be more me just explaining things in this series. If you actually want episodes with dialogue, starting with episode 1 and on, the next episode, if you guys enjoy this, will be I'm actually back in time. Will be the name of episode 1. So in the comment section down below, let me know what you think about this series idea and things that you would like that actually happen in this series. This is one of the few series that I'm going to take input from viewers, but I do have a general idea of where I want the story to go, and a lot of things that will happen in it that will drastically alter things for the good or for the better. And who knows, Kakashi may not be the only time traveler that we have in this series. That being said, like, comment, and subscribe. It helps with the algorithm. And I will see you beautiful souls in the next video.